Good evening and welcome, friends. This Sunday prime time, and tonight's biggest story is the story that has been the biggest story of the last week and more, which is the dastardly Hamas attack on Israel and the counter-offensive that's coming in from the Jewish nation. In fact, as we look at the build-up towards a possible ground offensive about which Israel has spoken, we continue to get minute developments from the ground, both by our teams reporting from the Israel-Gaza border and also, of course, in the Tel Aviv, where fast-paced diplomatic developments are taking place by the minute. Let's begin with the headlines and then we go to the story. Israel continues to hit back at Hamas targets in Gaza. Massive anticipation over Gaza land invasion. Despite being hit hard, Hamas terrorists launched fresh rocket attacks at Tel Aviv and southern Israel. Netanyahu chairs first meeting of the emergency government cabinet, reiterates resolve to dismantle Hamas. US Secretary of State Blinken announces fresh visit to Israel, second in less than a week. Okay, getting information on Israeli Prime Minister's message at first meeting of the emergency government cabinet on the start of war. Actually, this is about protests taking place around the country from Hyderabad to New Delhi. All right, getting in information on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's message at the first meeting of the emergency government cabinet since the start of the war. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reiterated that Israel will dismantle Hamas. He asked his ministers to rise for a moment of silence, and that's how the cabinet meeting began, following which deliberations took place on how to take the war forward, which was officially announced the same day that Hamas carried out those attacks. I'm told Alicia is joining us live from the Gaza border. In fact, Alicia, you've been there now for 5 days and more, bringing us those pictures from the Israel-Gaza Strip border. And tonight, we are looking at the possibility of the ground offensive that's been talked about for a while finally starting. Are you getting that sense from the ground, from Gaza border, that Israeli forces are all ready and could be launching their massive ground offensive going inside the Gaza Strip anytime soon?
Well, Abhishek, that is something has been started since yesterday, because an ultimatum that was given to the citizens of the northern side of Gaza, where they have been asked to shift to the southern side, and moreover, it was 3 hours of safe passage was also given today. But yes, it's for the 5th time today where the report has been received of an anti-tank missile that has been fired towards an IDF post along the blue line with Lebanon. I am reporting from the Rafah border, and we have been trying to go to the southern side of the Egypt border. But yes, everything has been restricted. The movement has been restricted. I'll just show you the visuals where the people have been stopped and they have been not allowed to go ahead of this border. So there are restrictions that has been made because it's an Israel forces who have been moving forward towards the Gaza Strip, and we have been also been asked to stay from a distance where we can show the visuals. But yes, the pictures on your screen, as you see, it's a Rafah border. To the left, where we go to the Egypt border, is what we know from the route map. But yes, the people have not been allowed there. only the officials and the authorities has been allowed to move forward. But this is after the invasion that has been ongoing, and the Israel forces, the defense forces and the Israel air forces has been moving forward. It's what we can see, but it's also very important to even see the roads which has completely been deserted. The people have been asked not to come out of, because this is after the Israel forces have been continuously making an effort. And the statement also which has been given by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, clearly asking all the ministers to rise for the movement of silence, and a clear message that has also been given to them that we will dismantle Hamas. This was the statement given by the Prime Minister. It also mentioned that Hamas thought that we would come apart, but we will dismantle Hamas. Our statement was from the Prime Minister. He also further stated that he has seen our amazing soldiers who are now on the front line. They know that the entire nation is behind them. They understand the scope of the mission. They are ready to take action at any time in order to defeat the bloodthirsty monster who have been rising against us to destroy us. So this was a statement given by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, having a meeting for the first time with the ministers right after the Hamas attack. But yes, we know that the Israel forces is being moving forward now towards the Gaza city. Even yesterday, there were raids conducted, and there was some of the body that has been recovered, which was missing since the Hamas attack. But here, IDF has been constantly making an airstrike, as well as the anti-tank missile that was also fired was shot at the IDF soldiers who were operating along the Lebanese border.
Alisha.
But in response to that, IDF is currently striking Hezbollah military targets. There are many of the terrorist group which has also been killed, and during the day, where Hussein Kamal al-Masri, who has been known as a militant in Hezbollah organization, has also been killed in an IDF attack in southern Lebanon. So in accordance with the situational assessment and the recent shooting incident in the northern Israel, where the area also up to the 4 kilometers from the northern border with Lebanon has completely been closed. We have also been reporting from the Rafah border. The same border has been restricted.
Alisha.
The people movement have been restricted, because the clear message that has been given by Israel stating that it is the war against the Hamas terrorists and not against the citizen. They don't want to target the citizen there. They don't want to target the resident there, which is why there was a safe passage which was also open for the people. And even the IDF this afternoon, this morning, were around from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Israeli time, where it was mentioned that IDF will not carry out any operation along this route as far as the southern area of the Gaza is concerned.
Okay, Alisha, stay with us. Since you mentioned about Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet meeting, I think he spoke after the meeting. So let's listen into what he said, and then I come back to you.
בעבודת צוות בחזית אחידה. האחדות בתוכנו מעבירה מסר ברור לעם, לאויב ולעולם. ראיתי את הלוחמים הנפלאים שלנו שנמצאים עכשיו בקו החזית. הם יודעים שהעם כולו עומד מאחוריהם. הם מבינים את גודל המשימה. הם נכונים לפעול בכל רגע כדי למגר את מפלצות הדמים שקמו עלינו לכלותנו. החמאס חשב שאנחנו נתפרק, אנחנו נפרק את החמאס.
All right, we are getting some breaking news development. Even as Muslim nations are divided on the Israel-Gaza war, Global Imams Council, headquartered in the Islamic Seminary of Najaf in Iraq, consisting of over 1,400 Muslim imams and scholars, has condemned the barbaric and terrorist acts committed by Hamas in Israel. Now, this is significant because this is a body of clerics, of Muslim scholars, and contrary to the perception that's getting created because of the street protests that have taken place around the world, it seems those who understand Islam know that what Hamas did is in no way a reflection of what Islam is about. I'll go back to Alicia. In fact, she continues to be live with us after this breaking news development. Alicia, you have been there in the Gaza border area of Israel for a while now. Today, it seems that the Rafah border is a very sensitive spot, and I believe you're very close to that. Please tell us, with the movement of Gazan citizens from the north to the south as asked by the Israeli forces, is the situation tense on the Rafah border also? What is the conduct of the Egyptians? Is Egypt allowing access to those Gazans on their side into the Sinai Peninsula? Is Egypt open to the idea of taking some refugees and to help the Palestinians in Gaza? Or the border is completely closed? And with the exodus happening from north to south, it's clear that it's a matter of time before the Israeli forces move in through the barbed and concrete border and go into the Gaza territory.
Well, Abhishek, as far as Rafah border is concerned, well, yes, it's completely been closed and no one has been allowed until unless it's IDF or the forces and the police officials who have been only allowed. And if you can I'll just try to show the visuals from the mobile, just to, as we have been standing from a very from a distance, but as you can see, there are cars and the people are not been allowed. They have been taking a U-turn because the forces has been taking all the identities. Even when we went, it was the police officials who checked with our IDs, our passport. But even when the press is also not allowed, nor even the common people have been allowed there. So all the cars you have been seeing that they are taking a U-turn because there is no entry. It has completely been restricted towards. As you can see, there have also been vans who have been taking a U-turn. So yes, as far as the entry border is concerned, we have been trying to report from every location in the Israel, but yes, they are not been giving any permission. There are multiple police officials who have been present there, and they have been not giving any permission to any of the people there. So yes, the movement have been restricted. Only the IDF forces have been allowed to move there. So the Egypt border is concerned, well, no one has been allowed. Even we have been asked to move back, as we have been reporting from. So yes, we have been seeing the visuals where there are forces who are coming back. No people have been allowed. So yes, the restrictions have, there are restrictions as far as the movement is concerned. No one has been allowed to move there. So yes, as you asked, Abhishek, they are not been giving any permission to any of the people there, nor even to the press, to enter the border. They are just been said that to just ask everyone to move to a safer place, because now the ultimatum that was given by Israel has already been finished. It was a safe passage was given, 3 hours safe passage that was given, but still it has not been. Now it has completely been over now, but no one is allowed to even travel to the Egypt border.
Right, Alicia, continue to stay with us. We are not letting you go. And breaking news development also coming in, continuing with the Israel Hamas story, which is the border is getting hot up north. Israeli Air Force has put out an update claiming that 9 rockets were fired from Lebanon into Israeli territory. The IAF, which is the Israeli Air Force, intercepted 5 rockets according to protocol. And obviously the Iron Dome system, missile defense system of Israel working. In fact, there is an iron beam system also for rockets that come closer than 5 kilometers. And Israel now claims that the Lebanon border has also become hot. It's been so for a while. In fact, there have been a couple of casualties also being reported from the northern side, with firing continuing at the Lebanon border from both the sides. The Hezbollah is active along the Lebanon border, and they are targeting Israeli posts and Israeli territory. There have been a couple of raids which have been repulsed by a little more better prepared Israeli defense forces now. And so the border along Lebanon and Syria also getting hot. Alicia, I'll come back to you. And since we were discussing about South and you're present there, please tell us what's the kind of movement of the defense forces you are seeing, so that we get an idea of how far we are from a possible ground invasion by the Israeli forces into the Gaza territory.
Well, Abhishek, we've been seeing that Israeli Air Force and the Defense Force has been constantly having and being continuously attacking. They have been firing even artilleries constantly, as we were also reporting from the operational base. And we saw that there were artilleries around 150 artilleries that was placed there, and they were constantly firing. But also we also should remember the picture that we saw day before yesterday. There were around 40 to 50 Markavas that was moving towards the Gaza city, because the action that has been initiated on the first day, the ultimatum that was given of the 24 hours, it was IDF who has conducted raid, and many of the bodies of the people who were missing since the Hamas attack have been found out, has been recovered. But now the IDF has also spotted a number of Hamas operatives coming out from the tunnel trapped in Gaza during this afternoon itself. And IDF aircraft eliminated the terrorists, and they attacked the route of the tunnel from which the terrorists came out. And here is the IDF, which continues all the time to pursue Hamas terrorists and strike hard at the terrorist organization. So they have been targeting, a strategy has been made, and they have been targeting the head of whether it is the military staff or the aerial system. They have been targeting those people who've been the mastermind of the massacre. And that is what we have been witnessing as far as the Israel retaliation is concerned. Because even Israel chief military has clearly called for the people to strike out from the Gaza city. They have been asked for their personal safety, because it's Israel who is going to be complete into invasion. They are going to be inside ready, and IDF has been continues to strike terror targets in the Gaza Strip and kill terrorists existing a terror tunnel in the Gaza Strip. So we know that the IDF has been constantly making an effort, and even during the joint statement that came in this morning, where the part of an extensive IDF strike of senior operative and terror infrastructure in the Gaza Strip, where the IDF and ISA killed the Nukba commander of the forces in the southern Khan Yunis, who was responsible for the Kibbutz Nirim massacre. So from this, we get to know the strategy of the Israel. They have been targeting the known people who have been the responsible, whether for the massacre or who has been the mastermind of all the attack that has been made, as per the document that has also been accessed by Republic TV, where it shows that the attack on Israel was planned a year back. It was on October 2022 when they planned for an attack, specifically taking a shield off children. They wanted to target the school, but now everything has been taken back by the IDF. They have been covering all the areas inside out as far as Gaza is concerned. But yes, to the northern side, it's an IDF who've been moving forward, because even the IDF fire jets has been operating in the Gaza Strip, and there are forces as well who've been moving forward and making the full force attack on the Hamas terrorists.
Okay, Alicia, please continue to stay with us. I have one more breaking news development, again staying with the Israel story. And the development is that United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who has been crisscrossing the Middle East, will head back to Israel on Monday, that's tomorrow, for his second visit in less than a week, following a tour of 6 Arab countries on the crisis with Hamas. The top U.S. envoy will return to Israel after completing a frantic 6-country rush through the Arab nations aimed at preventing the Israel Hamas war from igniting a broader regional conflict. The U.S. State Department announced Blinken's plan to travel Monday to Israel, his second visit in 5 days, as America's top diplomat arrived in Cairo for talks on Sunday with Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. It was the last of Blinken's meetings with Arab leaders amid increasing fears that an impending Israeli ground offensive into Gaza would spark a wider war with devastating humanitarian consequences. Remember, Antony Blinken, after landing in Tel Aviv, crossed the border and went to Jordan. From there, he has gone to UAE. From there, he has gone to Saudi Arabia. And then he has gone to Egypt. And also, of course, Qatar before that. Essentially, trying to make sure that the Arab nations realize that Israel has to be seen to be responding to the terror attack, and that Hamas should not get any kind of moral support from any of these governments, which, by the way, were not getting, Hamas was not getting till the time that this terror attack happened, and groundswell of sentiment happened in the Muslim street, sort of tying the hands of these regimes. On that note, we slip into a short break, and on the other side, live and breaking continues, and we of course stay on the Israel Hamas war story.